Hello. Today we're going to try to add voice to a chatbot. And we're going to try to add a voice to a Spanish language chatbot. So in a previous video, we debugged Michael's adaptation of the Eliza chatbot for Spanish. And it works like this. We play it, and then it chats with us. It says, "Hola, ¿cómo te sientes hoy? ¿Con rescata? ¿Resaca?" And you can say, me siento muy bien. And then it asks, when you're feeling good, what are you doing? Trabajando, pues. Cuéntame más, etc., etc. Okay, so this is great. But what if, in Michael's case, he wants his students to be able to practice their Spanish and do that orally? So they'll hear the question and then they'll give a response, etc. So let's see if we can convert his code or add to it so that it will do that. So what he's got down here is he's got this if statement. This is the only one that really runs, and then it calls this main function. And the main function asks that question once, and then while true, so then it just keeps looping and until someone types quit, and then it quits. Otherwise, it takes whatever input they give. Remember when we debugged that input from raw input to input. So whatever they type in, like we typed in, it turns it to lowercase, and then that's put in the statement the statement variable, and then the statement variable is sent to analyze, which is right up here. Maybe we add a little space there. Okay, and then down here it says for pattern responses in psychobabble. And so this is the long-ish list of different things that could be said. And this is a dictionary of reflections to change the tense. Okay, so it looks for the pattern in the responses up in that list. And if it finds a match, then it's going to respond. This is like a random choice responses, but it can be more, so it'll match it and then it will respond with something. And it's reflecting, adding that in so it changes the tense and or the person. So instead of you, it'll say I, or instead of I, it'll say you. Okay, so we're not here to tinker with this code or the way he's matching. We're here to add voice. So we probably have to add some packages first. So let's do that. We're going to add several packages here. Oh, now my computer's going slowly. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're adding the datetime package. We're adding the Python text-to-speech x3. We're getting the speech recognition package. Now, this is capital S, capital R, no space when you're looking for that package. Don't ask me why it switches the name of it. We're importing OS. You already have that. That comes as a default. We're importing the GTTS package and the play sound package. Okay. Then we're going to set some default values for the Python text-to-speech for Python 3. Now, we are not actually using this engine to say anything. Even though we set these properties, we are using the engine to listen and wait for future utterances. So I'm not going to go over this a ton. Then we've got, you know, this whole list. So let's go below that list because we're just going to leave that how it is. There we go. If you hear a dog in the background, that's my dog barking at somebody or other. Okay. The next thing we want to do, we've got the reflect fragment, and that's going to stay the same. We've got the analyze. I'm going to add a space in there. So we've got the analyze function, and that's going to stay the same too. Like I said, we're not going to mess with that. But this main function, we're going to change around some. Okay, so that play audio, we're going to add in a function called play audio. And this function is going to speak the audio. And I would have used a different one, except it won't pronounce it in Spanish as well. This one does a good job. So I grabbed the GTTS package and then just created this little function. So it takes whatever text you want the computer to speak, and then it sets the language. Here we're setting it to Spanish. And then voz, which just means voice, equals this. It equals the text and the language, and it's sending it out. And then we're going to get an MP3 file back. And so we're going to save that MP3 file. And then we're going to use the play sound package to play that MP3 file. Okay. And then we want to remove it, because if we don't remove it, this will work once and then it won't work anymore. So once we've played the sound, then we use the OS package to remove that file so that each time it'll be a new file. Okay. So then with this main function, we want to change it. We want to set the value of I to 0. And then we want to call this, since this is a Spanish language one, we'll call it saludo equals, and then let's just grab this statement and make that, and then we can just print saludo. Now, why am I doing this? Well, because we're going to play that audio too. So let's try it. Play audio, and then let's pass it saludo. Okay, and so we've got the language defaulted as Spanish, because right up here you can see we've got the language. So you could set this language parameter to EN for English if you wanted. I've got it set default to Spanish, so then I don't have to set it. This just equals this, and the default is Spanish, so we're good. So now it should play the opening. So let's try it. But after that, it's not going to do anything more.
Hola, ¿cómo te sientes hoy? ¿Con resaca?
Oops. Down here, sí. Parece muy seguro. Okay, so that was pretty fast too. It didn't take a lot of time. Let's stop this. Let's get rid of some of these. Oh boy. This is some great television. Okay, so this part worked, and it's pretty promising, right? The pronunciation was pretty good. It didn't take very long to play. So nice job there. Okay, so while true, so this part's just going to keep looping. And so right now it's got like this input statement and it's printing the statement. We're going to stop printing it. Well, we're going to change it a little bit. So while true, we're going to set the date time. And let's get our speech recognizer rolling. There we go. So then we want to let it know that the microphone is the source. So we've got with microphone as source. Now we want to do if I is less than 1. So if I is 0, never mind. We're not going to do that. Why did I do that over here? We'd do it twice. I see. Okay, so let's just keep it. And basically this is saying, hey, let's print that same message as before. So the saludo. So if that, then print saludo. Okay. And then I equals I plus 1. So then I won't print it again. Okay. Then let's go out 1. I assume you're listening to this or watching this at 0.2 speed, because I'm not super fast. Okay, so audio equals listen to the source. Now we're going to try some things, because we're trying, because we don't want, if there's an error, like if it doesn't hear anything, or we don't want it to just crash. So let's do try. It means we can handle our own errors. And then if we go here, accept, and that's where the error part comes. And we need to give it a particular error here. So SR dot, so it's this recognizer unknown value error. Okay. So the incoming is going to be the variable we use for what we get back. So incoming equals recognize Google audio language. So this is what the person is saying. So Michael's student or whoever the user is saying something. That's the incoming. And you'll notice we're using recognize Google, and the audio is what it's listening for up here. And then we're setting the language to Spanish Mexico. We don't have to set this, and Google will try to automatically recognize, but sometimes it messes up, or it ranks everything, and sometimes it doesn't think you're speaking Spanish, which, especially if you're a beginning student, you might not be speaking Spanish. Or it might not be intelligible. So we're saying, hey, treat everything as if it's Spanish with a Mexican dialect. And you can change this if you want to change this to a different one. Just Google recognize _ Google language, and you'll get a list. Okay, so that's the incoming. And then I'm doing an incoming return. So where it's confirming, and this is for testing purposes, but also for the learner, right? So they know, it says me dijo, it says you told me, and then it says it. So if they didn't say what they meant to say, or they didn't pronounce it in a way that was intelligible, they'll find out. It'll say what the computer is hearing. And then let's print that incoming return. And then let's play that audio, because we want it to be something that's spoken, that goes back and forth, right? Okay, then we've got the error value. So down here, let's set a value that's a variable that says, oh, what's the error message? Okay. And then let's print it. And let's play it. Okay. Okay, then we want to, sorry, I was checking to make sure, again, that's my dog barking at somebody. Yes, puppy, yes. Very exciting. Sorry about that. Okay. Then we've got this incoming. Yes, puppy. You really want me to check, don't you? Okay, let's pause the recording. Okay, so the male person is in the neighborhood. She'll start barking like a maniac in a little bit. Okay, so now we've got this if incoming, which means if we got anything, if the listener found something, then run this code. So we've got this statement, the original statement from the ELIZA code, right? Is that the right level? Oops, what happened? Yeah, that's the right level. Come on. Okay. But we don't want the input, right? We want it to be incoming because they're not typing anything anymore. So incoming dot lower, it'll turn everything to lowercase. And then our response is going to be this response equals, and then we've got this analyze statement. And then we're going to print response. Oops. Response. And guess what we're going to do then? Yeah, we're going to play audio. Response. And then we want it to run and wait again. So then this if statement, let's turn it to an elif. Elif incoming equals quit. Now, will it even register quit, or we'll do like quite or something? So this probably needs to be changed. In fact, if it is quit, it's going to be picked up by incoming because there's something there. So this one would probably need to be first. And you'd first check to see if they said parar or basta or whatever, and you'd want to tell them that in that welcome statement to stop, you know. But for now, we'll just keep it like this. So if elif incoming equals quit, then let's just play some audio before we break it, and we'll say hasta luego as the audio. Let's put a line in there. I'm going to pause this because my dog is about to start barking. Okay, the male person has come and gone. Where were we? Okay, so we've got this else if, which we don't think is actually going to work because it's not listening for English, and incoming has a value, which means this incoming will be the one that will go. And then we've got the final main on there. So let's see what happens. And that really doesn't matter. That's from something else. Okay, let's run this.
Hola, ¿cómo te sientes hoy? ¿Con resaca?
Me siento muy bien, gracias.
Me dijo, me siento muy bien, gracias. ¿Cuándo sientes normalmente muy bien, gracias?
Casi todos los días.
Me dijo, casi todos los días. Por favor, cuéntame más.
Pues en mi familia casi siempre estamos muy felices.
Me dijo, pues a mi familia casi siempre estamos muy felices. Vamos a cambiar de enfoque un poco. Háblame de tu familia.
Tengo muchos hermanos, 5 y una hermana.
Me dijo, tengo muchos hermanos, 5 y una hermana. Muy interesante.
Quit.
Me dijo, quit. ¿Puedes profundizar sobre eso?
No. Okay, so there you have it. It's a, I think, useful chatbot for folks who are learning Spanish. Gives them feedback, shows them what they said. Now, it did at the very beginning, and you could end up with we could save each of these responses into a list or a text file and create a transcript also, and that could be like automatically emailed to or stored in some ad on an admin side or emailed to their instructor. It was at the beginning. It said it twice. Now, why did it do that? Probably because I had it printed here, right? And then we've got this where it prints the saludo. We might not even need that. We could take that out, or we could just take out this one. Now it should only print it once. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hope that was useful. Until next time.